What if the heaviest thing you carry is not what happened to you, but the secret you kept about it? What if the shame you've lived with for years was never yours to hold? And what if I told you that shame is the lowest frequency emotion on the emotional scale? And one of the ways it survives is through silence. Today, we are breaking that silence. There are injustices, unfairness, abuse, diminishment, fear, neglect, and trauma. And when they happen, especially in childhood or adolescence, they don't just hurt in the moment. They become invisible scars. They cloak the heart and they cast shadows across your identity. They splinter the self. According to David Hawkins, who compiled the map of consciousness, shame calibrates at the very bottom of the emotional scale, below grief, below fear, and below anger. Shame is the emotion that whispers, I am bad. It was my fault. I deserved it. If anyone finds out, I will be rejected, abandoned, and judged. And so we hide. This is one of my secrets. When I was a teenager, I was sexually abused. I told 2 so-called friends at school. I trusted them, but they told everyone, and suddenly I wasn't the victim. I was the one branded as wrong, cast aside, looked at differently, mocked, discarded. I never reported it, and I never told my parents. I blamed myself. I was 13 years old, and I carried that secret for years. That shame didn't just sit quietly though. It became chronic PTSD, depression, acute anxiety, and emotional outbursts, dysfunctional behaviors, and dysfunctional relationships that were often abusive as I grew older. A splintered version of me began directing my life, and for a long time, that splintered self was the one living it. I took the hit, I carried the blame, I absorbed the silence. Shame thrives on secrets and lies. It survives in darkness. It embeds itself and becomes an identity, an energy all of its own. But hear this. Shame cannot survive in the face of compassion and empathy. The moment compassion enters, its energetic structure begins to collapse. The scaffolding falls away bit by bit. There is space for the light to enter. We fear judgment, yes, but in staying silent, we disown the very part of us that endured the unimaginable, that younger you who was victimized but survived. When we don't speak, we abandon her all over again. The turning point. It took years before I could look back at that younger version of me with compassion instead of blame. When I finally saw her clearly, a teenager with no support, betrayed by so-called friends, isolated and humiliated, something shifted. I realized she wasn't weak. She was surviving in fight, flight, and fawn trauma response. And that fragmented self that emerged was created to get through it, and she did. She was dissociated from the gravity of her childhood. We all have that strength within us, because to survive trauma, a part of you fractures, but beneath that, we are fiercely resilient. That fragmented self will battle through life until healing is chosen. And when healing begins, space opens and the authentic self, the sovereign self, begins to rise like the phoenix from the ashes. The fragmented self, she becomes whole again. She remembers her power, the divine feminine within. She embodies the DNA of strong women through the ages that survived endless persecution. Never forget where you come from. Your soul knows, and your soul will keep reminding you until you acknowledge her. And secrets have their place for a while. They protect you until you are strong enough to process them. But if thinking about that secret still makes you wince or cringe or feel sad or angry or hopeless, then it is still stored in your body, still active in your nervous system, still directing your life behind the scenes. You do not need to relive it or re-traumatize yourself, but you need to release it, because secrets keep that fragmented part of you alive and create separation from your authentic self, from the divine feminine waiting to emerge within you. You are not meant to live in fragments. You are being called to rise, to stand unapologetically in your light, and to become whole. Now, how heart helps. This is why I created Heart, the Heart Awakening Revolution Therapy. Heart works with the superconscious and subconscious and spirit to safely clear the emotional route without making you relive the memory. Heart works with the energetic imprint and the stored emotional charge and frequency lodged in the body, the energy centers and subconscious. Shame can be released. Its energetic scaffolding can be dismantled slowly over time. You don't have to tell your story publicly. You don't have to revisit every detail. The body remembers, and it can also let go. I've created a specific process to clear shame, and it's in the emotional playlist on this channel. Now, if this resonates with you, start there. Set your intent to release your secret or secrets. I've had many. So remove self-judgment and remove self-abandonment. It is time. You survived, you endured, you adapted. But survival is not your destiny. Sovereignty is. High frequency emotions of honesty, truth, integrity, self-compassion, these dissolve shame. And when shame dissolves, what remains is power. Not loud power, quiet, embodied, heart-led power. The kind that says, I will not carry what was never mine. I honor the child who survived. I am actively choosing to rise. Those secrets lose their potency when you no longer identify with them. They become chapters, not your identity. And from that place, you stand in your light, taking up space, still standing, but better than you've ever been. Now, if this spoke to you, you are not alone, and you are not wrong. You are rising. Remember, you are an expression of the divine feminine. That is the truth. If you found this video, you are hearing this for a reason, because like I said, it is time. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe for trauma-informed emotional healing, superconscious clearing sessions, and heart-led empowerment. From my heart to yours, with love.